Okay, guys, good morning. The 1st of February. January was super long month. February now, though. So, yesterday we did have, let's just go to it. We had the Fed interest rate decision, which we did trade. We ended up placing a short. Didn't continue moving. Usually, well, sometimes it does continue moving all the way until like midnight. Sometimes, though, you just get a little move and it doesn't move against you. Hence why I close it at 12 o'clock, because if it's not going to move in our direction at 12 o'clock and it hasn't for the daily close, and then it's not going to continue for the next day. Usually the next day it takes it out or it continues in that direction, but I would rather be out. So sometimes if you get a move to the downside, you can get a move to the upside as it grabs liquidity on the move to the downside and then moves up. So yeah, Fed interest rate decision was unchanged. The Fed press conference wasn't interesting. Literally the littlest move in the past 4 months, but that's kind of expected. Next one might be a little bit better, but we literally lost hardly anything. So that's good. We managed risk and we stuck to the rules. FX Blue, let's take a look at the medium term here. So gold is stronger than the USD, obviously. The Great British Pound, let's have a look at that. The Great British Pound is minus 1.2. USD is a positive 1.7. Whereas Bitcoin? Bitcoin's kind of in the middle. Short term, the Japanese yen is the strongest. Aussie dollar is the weakest, along with the Great British Pound. Bitcoin is positive 0.8. USD positive 2.7. Gold minus 0.4. So gold might be moving to the downside today. Let's take a look. So what do we have today? Today we have, I think, just a normal day. We have ISM, manufacturing. Yeah, we'll bring in a little bit of volume. We have continuing jobless claims, which is every single Thursday. And we have the interest rate decision for the Great British Pound, which isn't going to affect us because I don't trade the Great British Pound. So, guys, US 100, we placed a trade at this daily, well, this 1 hour close here. We was in it for about 3 hours, roughly around about here, hence why the SL is there. Our SL was actually up here. So if you risk 2%, you'd have lost like 0.3, which is okay. You live to trade another day. So on the daily, this actually looks like it could tap the weekly low here and drive all the way down to here. Sometimes, not all the time, the day after the Fed interest rate decision is a big day. So potentially we have a decent move today. It could be a sell, it could be a long. So basically, if we reject this level, we will go in short. If we break this level, we'll go long. It literally has about a 400 pip directional move in either way. Yep. Right about 400. So a really good day is about 400 pips, 500 pips. So that should be a pretty decent day. So all I'm going to say here is it literally could go either way of this weekly. That's all I'm going to say. We are prepared for either and also all scenarios. That's all I'm going to say here. It could literally go long, it could go short, it could continue all the way down here. For the daily, for a higher time frame trade to the previous high. So we've had a higher high and then a higher low, and then we move to the upside from here. Or it could literally just move up higher here and we don't get a touch of the previous high, just like we didn't get a touch here. We moved close to it, but we didn't actually go all the way to it. So doesn't have to come all the way back in order to move up. It's just the way that it is. So we could see a sell, we could see a long. We'll see. US 30. So US 30, again, we could see a higher time frame move to this low here, this weekly low. So a sell-off yesterday doesn't mean that today has to go bullish, doesn't mean that it has to go bearish. We'll see what happens at the open. Seems as though it's just struggling at this weekly. Is that the top? Yes, it is. So it's struggling a little bit, hasn't really done much. Again, could literally go long or short. We are prepared for either scenario. I can't tell which way it's going to go. because it's at the weekly. It could either break to the upside or to the downside. So US 100 and US 30, I have zero bias because after the Fed interest rate, the day after, it could literally do anything. If you don't have a good move on the Fed, usually the day after is a pretty big day. So today could be a decent day. Let's take a look at gold. Why if I go internet? Okay. Is it just this which is lagging? Yes, okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Huh. It's going a bit slow. Okay, so the daily here, let's take a look. Yesterday closed as a pin. The fundamentals say that gold is weaker than the USD, but medium term gold is stronger than the USD. We have broken above this daily zone. We have seen a rejection here, so potentially we're going to see another rejection today. It is in a very nice uptrend, but again, it could break to the downside. But technicals are telling me a move to the upside. Fundamentals, long-term fundamentals say a move to the upside as well. We have a decent trend line, buys, 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 buys. Again, not that much of a good move for the Fed, to be fair. Probably because it's unchanged. So potentially along there. It's previous high, or maybe even a bit higher. But yeah, in the US session, when we have jobless claims, that's when I'll be looking at this. So move to Great Japan against the yen. Okay, so we haven't seen the buys yet. Let's go to the daily. Daily is breaking below. What's the Great British Pound against the yen? Great Pound minus 1.4, yen positive 2.5. So if today does break here, if today closes like this, guys, and then we'll probably be in a new downtrend. But this could be a liquidity grab in order for this to move up. So I'm going to say, wait for it to break above the daily, little bit of an exhaustion, little bit of a retest, or just anything that breaks above this level, you can long and then go into the previous high or a little bit beyond because it's going to move pretty quick. So you should be okay. Bitcoin now. Okay, so Bitcoin didn't touch the level that I wanted it to. On the daily, it looks really good. We've had a nice retest, which is exactly what I wanted. What them zones for the lines you have on the graphs are the resistance level? Yeah, so weekly, daily, 4 hour. I explain it all in the free course. So in the free course, I teach you exactly how I mark up my charts and stuff. So if we go to the weekly, just quickly. If we go to the weekly, we can see the major levels here. So the weeklies are these yellow ones, the monthly are these blue ones. So if we go to the monthly, we can see the monthly high and the monthly low because we have resistance level, support and resistance there. And then we go to the weekly, the yellow ones, we can see sell pressure and buy pressure there. And then you go a little bit further in, you go to the daily, which are the red ones, and you see the support and the resistance on the daily. So you know the level of significance that these have purely by their color. I don't go any lower than the daily. So the daily are red. Anything lower, so like let's say the 1 hour, they're blue. So if I was to put a support and resistance level here, it would be a blue one. So it just goes monthly, weekly, daily, and then lower time frame. because the lower time frame don't have that much significance at all compared to daily, weekly, and monthly. Yeah, no worries, Dylan. That's what the live session is for, bro, to ask questions and to learn. So, one sec. So, we do have this uptrend. It is a little bit below the daily right now. Bitcoin is weaker than the USD. I do believe it's going to tap this uptrend and then move to the upside. So we could probably get rid of that. Basically, anything that breaks above here, we can be pretty good for, especially if it closes good on the daily and fundamentals are to the upside. So I can basically move this down. So if we break above here, we'll be pretty good for a long here, guys, to be honest. So Bitcoin, potentially a long incoming soon. Greatest pound against the USD. So greatest pound against USD, super, super bearish. Moving in nicely towards this downtrend. We can probably move that a little bit. We have buy pressure incoming soon, though. So what's the Great British Pound? The Great British Pound short term is minus 3.6. So the Great British Pound is weaker than the USD. The USD is the strongest currency this morning. But what do we have later on? We have interest rate decision. Is there any setup here? Not yet. It's just kind of moved down. It moved down at 5 a.m. So it's not really done much. But is there a lower time frame level here? Yes, there is. We can see support at this level here. Look, buy pressure here. Boom. Sell pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure, buy pressure. Now that's been broken, doesn't it make sense for it to have a little bit of a pullback, maybe during the news, and then move down again later on to then potentially see a long? We'll see. We might not get this. This is kind of a long shot. It could just dump down to this level, and then we'll look for buys because obviously we've got a lot of buy pressure here. But yeah, that's the Great British Pound against the USD, looking for a sell at that level of support. Sorry, resistance, which was previous support at the one. Let's call it the 126,700 level. That's what you're looking for. With price action, once we touch this level, you're probably going to get a trade hit. So that's why the trade is a little bit lower because you have to have price action in there as well. Euro USD, the last one. So if you do want any more, put them in. Let's say oil or something like that, put them in. So we did get a spike yesterday before the news. We got ugly, ugly price action. Pin bar, bearish engulfing. There is a level here that we could tap into before we move down today. What's the fundamentals? So the fundamentals are Euro is a positive 0.2, USD is a positive 1.5. Not that much in terms of separation. I would like a little bit more separation. So if you was to choose the Great British Pound against the USD or the Euro against the USD, which one would you trade? The Great British Pound is a lot weaker than the Euro. There's a lot more separation fundamentally between these two. So I would honestly trade the Great British Pound against the USD because there's a lot more fundamental direction for this to move to the downside. So if you were stuck between the two, I would pick the one with the best fundamentals. Because this one doesn't have that much separation, but that basically means that it's not really going to do much yet. Basically the same setup here. So if you have a look at this, the Euro against the USD and the Great British Pound against the USD, sometimes they move pretty much similar. So if you can see, it's kind of literally, look at that, you've got a spike here, look. If you can see the cursor, pretty much moves the same. You've got to move down here as well, which is also here. You've got this little bit here. It just moves the same. Hence why I always say only trade one of these. Don't try and trade both of them because you'll get basically the same trade. If you get a hit SL on one of them, you get a hit SL on both. If you get a hit TP on one, you are going to hit TP on both. So just pick one, the one that you like the most out of the Euro, USD, and British Pound against the USD. Same with US 100 and US 30. Also, the S&P as well. Pretty much move the same. It hasn't in the past couple of days, but usually these pretty much move exactly the same. So there we go. So that's it, guys. That's it for the live session. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Daniel, Dylan, Etch, Jency, Hambo, iPhone, Uzman, and Zoom user. I don't know who you are because it's just a Zoom user. So yeah, guys, thank you for joining. I shall see you at 2:30 for the open. Hopefully we get a decent trade today, and I shall see you later on. Take care. Bye bye.